guys, we're back with episode 6 with Talks with Scott. We got a special guest, a great man, more than anything, a great coach, a great mentor, a guy amongst many words, Coach Beckum in the room, man. I just want to give a big shout out to you once again for just taking this opportunity to come talk to me. It's just something that I kind of got started because there's a lot of great men like yourself that really don't get an opportunity for the most part that the younger audience, especially being in this state, get to see. So I wanted to kind of bring to the life. So I just want to ask you how you was doing today.
Man, I'm doing good, man. I just want to say appreciate
Yes, sir.
you for having me on, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm really appreciate that,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So I'm doing good today, man.
Yes, sir.
It's been
Yes,
a long
sir.
day. We had practice, but I'm doing good.
How was practice day?
It was a good day today, man. I think, I watched a little bit of it. Most of the time I'm running around talking smack, just trying to get you guys going. That's what I do. Just, keep energy in there and just, keep it light for
Yes,
them,
sir.
because you've been involved in football, so you know how stressful
Yes,
on
sir.
a day-to-day it is. So I just try to, bring some just let them be free for a moment, just stress of being in the building.
Coach, can you kind of give me a background of where you're from and how that kind of molded you today?
Man, I'm from right here, Starkville, Mississippi, man. Hill State, Bulldog, through and through. That's all I know, being in Starkville. All my family worked at Mississippi State. Being on a small town is either factory or Mississippi State.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I'm saying? So a lot of my family, Mississippi State was helped them get through a lot of things they need to get through financially, just for a job, you know what I mean? But graduated in 96, started out at B.L. Moore. A lot of people may know it from the school Jerry Rice was at, whatnot. We had a few people come out of Jerry Rice, April Sykes. I don't know if people know anything
Yes, sir.
about female basketball,
Yes,
but
sir.
she's the #1 recruit coming out
Yeah,
the
man.
year she came out. So a special place coming from the country. Transferred here in my 9th grade year and finished high school here, man. Starkville's a place that, it's small, a lot of, I like to say, a lot of opportunities to do the wrong thing, make bad decisions. So had my share of bad decisions, and I think that's what laid the foundation for really who I am now. Starting out, you're like, oh man, I made these mistakes. But as you get wiser and start listening to the advice that older people are giving you, once you can understand how to trust that information, understand that people are there to help you, it began to mold me into where I'm at now today. Without it, man, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest with you. Mistakes I made. I'm grateful for them. Like, people like, would you change anything? Like, nah, I wouldn't. Because wherever it was, I would have got early, I would have messed it up.
Yes, sir.
So,
You talk about your elders and just in the tribe, of course, how we kind of raised inside the state of Mississippi. How much did that play an impact into your decisions and who you are as a person?
man, a lot. I mean, like, I grew up in the era where you don't ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Like, kids now can voice their opinion and tell what they're thinking about wherever it may be. So back then, like, my grandparent raised me, man. So, like I say, I was born in 77. He was born in 22. So in Starkville, in Mississippi, born in 22, and just that timeline up through a lot of things that went on throughout Mississippi, and for him to be pretty much successful businessman with what he was doing, and just the things he instilled in me about work. You got to go out there and build wire fence. Back then, it's post hole diggers. You know what I mean? Baling hay, the garden.
Yes, sir.
And there was no opportunity to say no. You know what I mean? This is what you're doing. So he instilled hard work. Like, work is all I know. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. So, like, now it's a little different. Kids don't really work. They don't understand, like, just do as I say, and it'll make sense later down the road. So I had the opportunity to learn how to, even though I don't like it, but I had to do it, and I learned how to do it with pride. You know what I mean? So you always had to sign your work with him, because if not, you spend 5 hours doing something, you got to go right back and redo it because it wasn't up to par. So that's it.
Yes, sir.
The elders, like, they didn't play back then.
What's
man.
some of the biggest transition from Starkville kids, athletes back then versus today?
It was hard-nosed football back then. Like, I don't know if you went through tour days, right?
With,
you could
2016 was the last year, and that was my first year there.
So those days, these kids can make it through that. They don't want to do player-led practices right now. You know what I mean? They entitled, they feel like. Back then, there was no such thing, man. All you know was grind. So it's a little different from back then and now. There's no way the kids now. A few of them may.
Yeah, yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? You got those ones that
Yes,
will,
sir.
but most of them, they'll probably go to work. They wouldn't play football.
Yes,
man.
sir. So when you kind of go about the transitioning aspect, even from if we had to go a little bit deeper from Starkville itself, what's some of the biggest things? Because you hit on it's a place to where you can kind of pick your poison to an extent. So with that basically being said, in some ways, have those temptations grown larger or minimized since your days playing versus now? Or your days here versus, you traveling and coming back? Like, what are some of those different things from back then to now when it comes to just a location in Starkville?
I think you still had the opportunity to still do the same thing. Like you see a lot of kids still make bad choices. It's the same. I definitely have to say it's about the same. I mean, I think kids are a little bit more entitled now,
Correct.
because now it's, oh, you good, you good, you good. And they really believe that. Like, we didn't get told you're good, you're good. You always get told on how you can do it better. I'll never forget, I was playing baseball, a little kid growing up, man.
What position?
I was pitcher in right
Okay,
field.
okay.
So, like, man, I get up there and I strike out however many people. I'll leave some curveball hanging. We'll win the game. I might have gave up one home run, but at the end of the day, my granddad never pat me on my butt, man. It was always like, yeah, you strike those guys out, but you got to understand how good were those guys. Because that guy that was real good, you left that curveball hanging, he hit you over the light pole, right?
Sir.
So it was always kind of like that. I don't know if kids now could take that type of criticism and understand that it's just to make you grow and make you better for when you get to that good competition. Because at the end of the day, even in high school right now, you can be a 5-star. Let's say you're a 5-star receiver. How many times you gonna line up against a 5-star cornerback? You see what I'm
Somebody
saying?
test you.
Now, oh man, you got 400 yards today, man. You good, you good. But then when you get to college, these guys are hand-picked. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Now you get up here, you've been told you good, you never worked your craft. So now you just average running a route. Now you got to learn route running. Now you got to learn time and different things like that, wherever the position may be. So, yeah.
From a development standpoint, and then I'm going to go into your coaching journey. From a development standpoint of the kids in Mississippi, do you think that it has risen from your years, from an exposure, from a technique standpoint, or do you think since the places that you've been, the places that you coach, being amongst the best teams in the world, being at Alabama for a stint, being at Oregon, being amongst great leaders, great teams, and great, states. So with that basically being said, do you think there's a development curve still here in Mississippi that was kind of once where you were at when you were here?
No doubt, man. Those other states have a lot of different opportunities for kids to go seek out help. Like we had our conversation.
Yes, sir.
You're here now. So it's starting to change, but we need some more guys to come into, because kids can't go to Dallas. They just don't have the finance or wherever it may be, or they're not known. That's why Mississippi, especially back in the day before the NIL, when other schools can come in, you had a fence around Mississippi. You couldn't really come in and get guys out. Now with the NIL, you can come and get the better guys, right? But those guys don't get the camps. Those guys don't get exposure unless their parents really have the resources or have somebody that really care enough to get them out, to get a trainer, to get somebody like yourself to work with them in the weight room and get them prepared for college. So back then, it was just country strong, man. We just worked. And like I say, the fence was up and you was just able to find. JUCO was a big deal.
Yep.
Now it's I'm not going to say it's going away, but it's not like it used to be, you know what I mean, with the talent flooding in.
Correct.
So, yeah, man, I think that once we can get more guys such as yourself and myself that's willing to help young kids, like I talked about with the Coach Me Coach movement, I'm trying is to get those middle school age kids and begin to teach them how to train, not how to win. You got those little league coaches trying to teach them how to win. To a certain extent, that's cool, but you're not teaching them how to train. And now they get to high school, they still don't learn it, right? Now we get them, and it's hard to get them to go hard. And especially now with the NIL, you getting paid. So now where they used to work with you and like try to get you to really, really work, now it's like a 2-year deal. You don't want to work, man. It's cool. You got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, those kids will get you fired.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a business.
It's a
though.
business.
Yeah.
It's a business.
And I think that's the hardest thing to get them to understand, that we're not on you just because we just want to say, oh, you're not working. Like, no, it's another level you got to get to. And if you want to be around, you got to get to that level, because if not, it's somebody else that's hungry, that's waiting, you know? And, yeah.
When you kind of get started with your coaching journey, what would you say got you into, 'cause like we talked about, you were here, you were doing your training, then also you was like, okay, it's time for me to transition out of that and step into the roles that you're at. Could you talk about what basically started you to, or propelled you or push you into that direction?
Shoot, man, it just happened, man. Like you know, like I say, going through a lot. And as I got better with a lot of the bad decisions I made, because I had to get out of there. Once I had my son, it's like, okay, I got to go. So now it's just like, now I got on the path of trying to do right. And it was hard. I dug that hole so deep, man. And then as I kept going, understand spiritually growing a little bit, understand favor, understand the movement that God is trying to move me in.
sir.
And so now it just became, I'm just walking and he's just leading. So it wasn't that I'm saying I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And it just flowed that way, man. Like I say, when I went to Velocity and learned speed, I didn't ever think that I'm gonna try to be the best speed coach. It just happened, you know. And like when I see things move in that direction, I just go with it. I don't go with what I want to do, because a lot of times that's not what the man upstairs wants to do. So I just let him lead me and just go with the flow of what he's pointing me into and listening to him. And sometimes that was the hardest part early on, listening to him, because I had my own thing. And you can't do your own thing. If you see it, that's probably not what he wants. You know, it can give you a push to get going in something, seeking things, and then he'll put you, while you're seeking, you'll run across this person, run across that person. Oh, this is what it is. And then being a guy that didn't do schoolwork in high school, lost my eligibility, never did I know that was going to come back and be one of the leading things that moved me, the foundation that moves me. So now it's not that I want to be the best strength coach, best speed coach. I think the man upstairs blessed me with making it come easy, where I don't have to think about it and don't have to be all uptight and chasing it, where it allowed me to see this kid have issues. Like, come here, man, me pour into you about some of the mistakes I've done, because I see it in you and you're making those same mistakes. And what you don't want to do when you hit rock bottom and you got to do the right thing to get out, it's hard, man. Like, I was talking to one of my partners earlier today about that, man. It's time when you're in there, you feel it in your gut, you just make you sick. You just, you know, you ever had that feeling and just hurt, and you
Yes,
just
sir.
like, man,
Yes, sir.
you know, like that, or just end up like slapping yourself sometimes. Like, may sound crazy. I know there's people out there that been there, man, when you really at that rock bottom. So, but yeah, man, so I just use that now to fuel me to help kids, try to give them the information, help them make better decisions. You know, I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh no, you answered.
but
You
yeah.
definitely answered my question. You
Yeah.
answered my question. When you kind of got started with your coaching career, where did you start at, and what was your end goal? Not even your end goal. Your steps that you're taking. Like, where did you start at, and then how did that kind of keep propelling you to where you're at right now?
Man, like I say, well, with Mississippi State, man, did JUCO, whatever, ACL, ended up coming back home, was going to stay in school. That's one of the things I always knew I was going to do. School is never, I don't want to go to college, because, you know, the way we was raised, like, you want a decent job, you got to go to school. So I didn't do work in high school. It went because it was hard. It was just because it was easy, and I don't know, just didn't do it. But ended up, after playing there, ended up going to Mississippi State. My advisor was like, hey, have you registered for graduation? I'm like, what, I'm finna graduate? Are you kidding me? So did that, but my advisor said, you got to do an intern. Coach Kroom had just got there to go see the strength coach, Jim Niles, went to see him, got the intern, went from there, and instantly I fell in love with it. Like, okay, this is what it is. So, but then had a family, couldn't do the GA thing, like I say, didn't really like school like that, could do it,
Yes,
but
sir.
didn't really care for it like that. Ended up personal training, man, hated every moment of it. Went and did the speed stuff in Memphis, loved it. Went back to the high school setting, doing that. Ended up getting into track, did that for a few years. Like I say, can't make a million. I can't make a six figures doing teaching. I don't want to do that. Teaching's not my thing. Hated school, right? So I can't hate school and want to teach, right?
Yes, sir.
Nah, they don't go together, right? Vinegar and all. End up seeing Alabama had an intern, went and did that. Intern the first year at 30 something. Ended up getting hired year 2. Then got the job at Grambling State. Coach Fobbs wanted the fourth quarter program. He was with somebody that was from Bama. Like, hey man, you gotta come ahead, coach. What kind of program you gonna run? And he was like, you should run the fourth quarter program. So he seeked out a guy. Coach Cochran recommended me. Did the interview, and then after that, it just kind of took off, man. Like I say, just walking with wherever it was God was leading me with, man. And that's really how it worked, man. Did that. Went to Nevada. Wife had a health issue, had a stroke there. Got there summer 17. She had the stroke February the 8th. That next year, 18. We had to deal with that back and forth. 2 little ones. You know, that was stressful time, man. Got 2 little ones coaching out in Nevada. They was like, hey, man, she may be, you know, comatose for however long, forever maybe. It's like you can't move back home. You got to either go to Vegas or LA. And I'm like, man, God brought me out here for me to do this and live out here with this in this situation. But they gave her 16% chance of living, man. And she flipped the odds on that. And man, she a miracle, baby. And, you know, it's crazy how, you know, God worked things out, man. So in this coaching deal, if you're going to move, you got to pay yourself. You got to move yourself and they reimburse you. But I didn't have a job out. We just knew once the doctor cleared us, was moving back to Mississippi, back to family. We'll figure it out from there. Man, we played Oregon. That one failed was at Oregon. Just play with Aaron.
Aaron who?
Fails.
I did.
He was at Mississippi State, the snap. But anyway, he was the head strength coach there. We played them there, man. I'm talking to him, you know, checking on me. I said, this is what happened, man. I got to get up out of here. At the end of that season, man, when it came time, Wilson Love got the job at Ole Miss, and he put a word in, let him know I was trying to get home.
What year were you at Alabama? I don't mean to cut you off.
I came that summer, so that was the Orange Bowl year.
Okay.
So that was what, 12?
12.
12,
Okay,
13.
cool.
I was there for 2.
I got there in 16, so I was trying to see because you mentioned Coach Love.
Yeah.
And that's that guy, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I had a chance to come back. Like I said, God working with Siri. I got a second job, man.
Yes, sir.
Because I had to move myself, working at Tesla. So, man, I was working overnight. My boss then, Jordan Simmons, a great guy, man. Without him, man, I would have crashed out there, man. He did everything he could to help me and the staff there, the head coach, Neville, and got a chance, man. God, like I say, he put me in a situation. Every time I get in a hard situation, like I just have to woo-side because he always take care of me, man. Always. He never failed me. When I'm about to crack, he always bailed me out. Just say, be patient, keep chopping away. And got a chance to get back to Mississippi, man. When she was healthy, we moved, got there. And, of course, he took me to Oregon as a director of speed there. And, and just went from there. And here I am back home.
Yes, sir.
Never thought going to Ole Miss. I always knew I wanted to come back. Everybody like, what's your end game? Mississippi State. Get back home. That's the end game. Now they expected it was going to come like this soon. So, of course, we worked with Coach Levy and Ole Miss. When I got there, he was there, and Coach Shaw and Coach Levy knew each other well. And I met Coach Shaw there. We connected big time. He bailed me out of some situations mentally, talked me through some stuff, man, helped me out. So I owe him big time because without him, I think my career would be over. I'll probably be at what's the tire company over there, Yokohama.
Oklahoma? Oh,
Yeah, I've been over there like, man, forget this. But he taught me out the ledge on some things, man, and I owe him big time, like I said. And, God put him in my life and Levy. I know it was to meet Coach Levy, to meet him, to get back here. It's strange, huh? So just being obedient, what I'm trying to do. I'm not perfect, but, I learned to just listen and be still for a minute because I mess it up.
You mentioned something being still. How do you practice that? I'm asking as a young guy.
Man, I mean, for me, it's just my wife, growing up, in my age, you went to church. They instilled that foundation in you, whether you understood what was going on or not, but they instilled certain things in us. So then when I met my wife, her parents are pastors. So just going through that journey of having a son ready to change, the way I do things, got saved in, and just walking that path and seeking spiritually where I need to be, what I need to do, and how I need to look, and just trusting it, man, and just walking and then you start seeing things move. You start seeing things happen, and at that point, faith, man, like you seeing it. Like he revealed certain things to let me know, like, hey, okay, if you see me, like, oh shoot, yeah, man, I see you, yeah, you know, if that makes sense, man. Like that's the best way I can answer it. Me, for me, that's how it was, man. It's just having that foundation and understanding.
So when you also make mention of faith, how much are you, because of course excelling that inside yourself, but also trying to instill that inside of the team and some of the positions that you're apparently kind of giving your calling and pouring into these guys' cups. So how much is that trying to get these guys trying to buy in?
It's hard, man. Like especially they come from a foundation where they got years of doing things a certain way. I guess, like I say, I had a good foundation from my grandparents. Like a lot of people don't have that foundation. A lot of them don't have their dad. So they're dealing with certain issues like their dad issues, whether they talk about it to try to get an understanding that's what it is or wherever it may be. But it's hard. Like it gets frustrating because you keep bumping your head against the wall trying to get to that kid, get to that kid, get to that kid, and sometimes you have to step back because if you continue being that close to that kid, because certain things have to happen for that kid to get it. And sometimes you think it's you pouring into him, but it's not you. That may come back 5-6 years down the road, but you have to step back and let God handle it. Because if you stay in the way too long, he'll mess around and hit you too. You know what I mean? So that's the hard part, knowing when to, okay, it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So you had kind of slide back, you watch, you drop a couple gems here and there, but those are kids that get hit with, you dismiss. And that kid have to fall. Like told you, I went through what I went through. They gotta go through that. And then they have to grow back from that. And I try to understand that, but sometimes it's hard because I had a few kids that hit that rock bottom and they didn't make it back. You know what I mean? So that take a toll on me sometimes too when I'm talking to a kid and like, hey man, I gotta slide back, because then that pop up, hey dude, you had that kid, you seen him that particular day, you didn't say anything. You let him have his space, but then you get the call the next day, hey man, he's not here anymore. So when you have those type phone calls, it make you a certain way, you know what I mean? So that's kind of another reason on top of failing English class in junior year and going through that. So that's why a lot of times I bump my head. And then after I have to step back, I pray and, God's will be done. Because after that, it's really bigger than me. And you have your ones that do take it and listen because they want it, and, you just have to.
The coolest thing for your next event is the Premium 360 Video Booth, exclusively by Premium Productions. It's great for weddings, festivals, birthday parties, family reunions, baby showers, ribbon cuttings, and even conferences. Premium Productions is North Mississippi's premier wedding videography company with packages to fit just about any budget. And be sure to ask how to get a Premium 360 Video Booth for free. So give them a call or click today, 662-255-9991.
You have to just keep shooting your shot, man.
Yeah, man. And when you kind of mention pouring so much into these guys, how much did it affect you mentally, and how does that affect your family as well?
So for me, I always tell the kids, I got a 23-year-old son. So it's like, if he do something, I give up on him. I'm relentless with him. It's like chess. It's like checkers. It's not chess, what I say, it's chess, not chess.
Yeah, I get you.
You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, I hit him with this. Oh man, okay, I back, I watch, I observe. Like I'm always with him, I'm always thinking. Like I tell my wife, it's not an hour out the day I don't have a thought about one of the kids or both. If I think about one, I gotta think about the other. So it's always a moment there. So I'm never not thinking about them. It's always something I'm moving, a piece on the board. Okay, you don't want to listen to this. Okay, I'm gonna move this piece and let him see that, and then boom, he got to do this, and it always circle back, and he get his message. Now, younger, it was hard. So now he called me like, Dad, this and that and that and that. Like, okay, I'll try not to tell you so, but like, you remember I told you that about 6 months ago. You had to did it 6 months ago, you'll be further ahead. But, okay, that's an example. You got to start trusting me because I'm a thinker. I'm 3 steps ahead with my thinking. If you make this choice, okay, you're probably going to see this, this, or this. If you make this choice, you're probably going to see this, this, or this. You know, might not be right all or 100%, but I'm close. You know what I'm saying? So with the kids, it's like I can't give up on them. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't give up on mine, and that's just how I'm wired. So I'm not going to give up on you because do they have anybody that's willing to not give up on them? Because I get it, because I was them. Like, I made the bad decision, like I said, and I fought my own way out. I had to hit rock bottom and say enough is enough. So, I never just give up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to some now that we had issues with. You know, we bumped heads because, you know, I had to come at them a certain way. But I got those phone calls like, man, Coach, man, I appreciate that. You know, I ain't get it then, but now I see what you're talking about. You know, and that's good. It make you feel good when you get those calls. It make you continue what you're doing. And most time I get those calls when I hit that wall with a few guys, and you're like, man, this is exhausting. But you remember, you get that call, you remember, hey, don't give up. That kid gonna get it, whether it's from you or whether it's from somebody else, but you just keep pouring, man. You're like, what else I got to do, right?
You're right. And also you make mention of basically being a father. How important is that to you, and how important do you think it is to every kid that's watching, like to actively have a father in your life, and how that could shape and mold your future?
Man, it's big time. Like, you know, I had my granddad raise me. I had Goon, he raised me, you know what I'm saying? My biological, we didn't get a relationship till later. So just not really having an example other than my granddad. For Rick, I lived with them until high school. Then I moved back in with my mom because my granddad passed away. But at that point, I had certain foundations already there. But just when you, because like I say, before my son, I was doing all the wrong stuff. I wasn't heading nowhere fast, you know. Factory life, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Worked there for 30 years. But man, when I had him, it was like, okay, I gotta be there for him because I don't think I had daddy issues. I don't think I do now. You know, it might make me a certain way when it comes to him about being relentless and being there. But I think I can take everything on and like, okay, this is what it is. So what now? What type deal? Let's get it done. So, but with him, it just made me lock in. And that's what made me start the journey to really be where I'm at now. Without him, it's no telling where I'd be at, man, to be honest with you, because I didn't have changing on my mind for real. You know, I got time. So I had him at 24. So it was the perfect time because I've been 30 doing the same deal. You know what I mean? But I'm blessed for that situation. So, like, it'll make you grow up, man, because you got another life that you're responsible for. And I accept the challenge. I wasn't scared of it. Like, dead broke. Like, people say, hey, you can't afford it. Nah, I couldn't. Man, I was delivering newspaper out the car. Any means necessary, man, to do it the right way. Because, like I said, did the wrong choices, you know what I'm saying? You can make that other choice, but will I go to jail? Like a lot of people's parents, dad has, right? So I didn't want to do that route. And I was raised better than that and didn't have to really be in the situation like that to have to do that. Now, maybe if I was, maybe, but, you know, played with certain things, but really didn't have to, just did it, you know? So just having my son really made me grow up and mature and start getting back on the right path. Like I say, that hole was deep, man. It was deep. So anybody that, you know, in that situation, man, just, you know, dig in and grind, man. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a process. So just don't give up, you know what I mean? And just start seeking, start praying, you know, and just start listening. I think that's the key thing, man. Like prayer, like help you clear your mind and help you understand what's right, what's wrong, what you should, what you shouldn't do. Because everything is about decisions, right? You can make the wrong decision, set you back. You can make it right one, set you up for, you know, the future. So
You made mention of something I want to hit on. You made mention of listening. Like, how do you go about doing so? Because for the most part, I mean, if I speak for self, man, you know, you say a prayer. You definitely believe what you say. You practice, you know, your spirituality. But how do you know, like, to truly listen? Do it go back into what you're saying, being still? And even when you still, like, because, you know, you're trying to always stay in movement. You're always trying to be in movement. But sometimes Are you confusing movement with progress or just actually stepping? I'm just speaking, to myself. So how do you go about listening?
Like I said, he showed me. So it wasn't no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I've been in a situation where he showed me. You know what I mean? So it was never, it was easy to listen. You know what I'm saying? At first, of course, you're not listening because you're just doing, like you said, right? Then you get those situations where you get sit down or get a scare where you gotta because a lot of people only pray when you're in trouble, right? So that was part of it. Then it started revealing things, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, my wife, mother, she's a big prophet. Like she see things and she deliver the appropriate message at the right time when needed. It's like, dang, I was going, that's okay. Okay, something going on here. Okay, all right. You start, okay, like boom, here goes something else. Okay, boom, here you go again. So like it was easy. Like it was easy, man.
Right.
Like for me.
Right.
Now everybody might not, have that experience like that, but spiritually, I was around some people that was very spiritual people, Holy Ghost filled, and I watched them not make things move, but pray for people and things move. So it showed me that, hey man, you better be a believer.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I'm saying? You better believe, and because some people don't believe. I'd rather get upstairs and see the big man and I believe and he's there, then I get there, he's not there. He's there and I did believe.
Yes, sir.
See what I'm saying? I'd rather believe and it ain't real than, you know what I'm saying, and not believing is real, if that makes sense. If I ain't mess that up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you, most
saying?
definitely. Also, I got a question kind of going back and talking about some of the things that you did before. When you talked about your journey and basically personal training, you was like, I hate every minute of it. Why was that?
But a lot of them were stay-at-home moms. They got the outfit, the match, they got the makeup, they got all that on. It's like, oh, can you slow down? I'm starting to sweat. Okay. Then they had stay-at-home wives. They got money. They flying out looking at furniture. I'm like, man, you gone for 3-4 weeks. How am I going to change your body so I can get more clients? You know what I mean? So I was like, but I had just came from over at Mississippi State, right? We coach crew football.
Yes, sir.
You training guys to go to battle. You know what I mean? And now you got this, can you slow down? Like, this ain't my cup of tea. Because I'm programmed to, go get it. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of like you got to chill, man. That wasn't me, So,
Even when it comes to the high school guys that you were training, how did that kind of come about with, your mindset of, once again, even seeing your path and even familiar to mine to a certain extent, interning at Mississippi State, for a year and a half, going back, training high school guys and currently still doing that, and you're seeing what it takes to get to that next level, but you're seeing a lack of urgency that it takes to make it happen at a high school level. Do you think it's because a lot of athletes are being pacified and not told the truth on certain things?
I think it's that. I think it's that also. Maybe also it's a lack of the dedication to maybe the coaches to improve their craft and what they're doing. Don't have egos. Egos always destroy things, I feel like. I think those are the things. And then once that kid get there, you're scared to make him uncomfortable because he may quit. He may go to another high school, whatever. But there's ways you can get on kids, tough love, and still come back and hey, man, look, this is what's going on, and we're trying to get you prepared for the next level. Then maybe some of the guys that's gone to the next level, are they coming back to instill into those kids, hey, this is what, I'll tell them the truth for real, hey, this is what we was pacified, but when you get up here, it ain't no pacifying, man. So you might as well take this hard coaching. You might as well understand you're not you're not him. There's very few coming out of high school that's him.
Yes, sir.
Unless you reclassify and you're older coming out, you may be ahead of the curve, you know what I'm saying? But still, you look at the college level, how many freshmen come in and play for real? You got to be different. You got to be a unicorn.
And when it comes speak to a development standpoint of what you say when we had talked, what are some things that kids need to at least know to make your job a little bit, not saying easier, but you can kind of help an athlete keep stacking on the foundation that was pretty much laid? So what's some things kind of transition from high school to college that you see as a redundancy, this is slowing down this kid, kind of growth?
like I say, man, come back to the coaches not telling the truth coming out, not getting prepared to what they're gonna see. The structure and the system, you know what I mean? Like you don't like school, but you got to go to study hall. I mean, that's just part of it. You're a freshman, you're going to study hall. Your grades drop, you're going to study hall. You don't go, you're going to get this. If you get this, then your group might get this, or the whole team going to get this. So are you willing to protect your brother? You know what I mean? So the selfishness, the entitledness, all of that, man. Like, and understand that you're going to train. You're going to train. College, especially as a freshman, I think that's going to be the hardest thing you experience in your life, the training, and especially depends on certain programs. Right? Like we're a running program. We're gonna run, we're gonna condition, we're gonna do speed. Like that's just what it is. So if you haven't done 20 plus, 25, 26 to 30 110s, then you better start running them. You know what I mean? You haven't done speed work, you gotta be locked in, you better get ready. You know, you haven't done coaching station, you better get ready. Like everything's gonna move, you're gonna have an hour to do it, and it's gonna be chaos. You gotta be able to listen to the detail. Everything is details. Like, yeah, you can do the big stuff. But what about the little stuff? The little stuff is what's gonna make you great, right? You win championship off the little stuff. The big stuff, like most everybody can do the big stuff. That's easy. Not easy, but
what is your ideal player that comes into your system or a person that you're coaching? Is it a guy that got to come in with it already, or a guy that's just willing to accept the process, trust the process, and pretty much just take it for what it is and just keep stacking on those bricks?
Yeah, that's what you said. It. That's it. You got to trust the process, man. I know coming in it's hard to trust people. Like, well, coach saying this, but whatever. Like, you got to trust that process. You can't be a guy when coach say something, man, we got to do this, that. That's not a guy that's going to help you win. You really don't want that guy on your team. And if you're that guy, you got to change that after that first year. Before the first year, matter of fact, because as a strength coach, we see you first. The head coach and the position coach are going to talk to us. Hey, man, how is such and such? Hey, man, like, he don't like to be told nothing, man. He's difficult. He don't want to listen. So we give that information because we're going to see him before football. Because football is going to be the next phase, whether it's spring ball when you come in, if you're a January guy or you're a summer guy, fall camp. So we're going to give the report, and we're going to be pretty much right on, right? And that coach going to start with your position, whoever, the head guy, whatever, you're going to watch. Then you're going to get into practice. You're going to show it to him. See what I'm saying? So you're going to have to change it, and if you continue with them that way, you may only get a year. But you got NIL, right? Mama depending on that. You went and made the decision to pay this outrageous monthly payment on this Hellcat, but you finna get fired.
Yes, sir.
They don't understand. It's a job. You get fired. So now you done made all these obligations and all these bills, and you're not going to have the finance to take care of if you don't work and be coachable. Because that's just what it is, man, right? You've been there, right? Am I wrong?
Right.
Like I said earlier, we're not waiting for you anymore. You either get on board or you get left behind, or you have to go somewhere else. And like I say, that's when you either hit rock bottom and you get it, or you hit rock bottom and more bad things happen until you get it. Hopefully you have time to get it.
Yeah. No, because you spoke on something I think a lot of people do not understand. You spoke on just the realization of it. It's a job. And you created these outrageous bills for yourself, but if you don't basically conduct yourself accordingly, then you'll no longer be able to provide in those means.
Right.
So from a recruiting standpoint, I think a lot of people need to take heed to what he said. I understand that the pitches are great, but a lot of times if you don't work or do certain things accordingly, it's a short-lived lifestyle.
Yeah.
So how do you factor in that a kid that comes from nothing, that goes into something that has the means of getting things he wants that he probably always dreamed of? Mm-hmm. And now he has NIL, so he's able to, buy the car or get the nice apartment or provide and take care in certain aspects of things. How do you deal with that? Because at the end of the day, like, I'm just asking a question, like these 17, 18, 19-year-old guys, of course, older, but the ones that's coming in, like, how does that, affect their job? And granted, you've been there from the start, so you saw what it was like when guys didn't get anything. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, when guys start getting like a little stipend here and there to, of course, what it is now. Like, I'm just guessing that's a night and day difference of even how the kid is acting.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, he come from, whatever your parents, wherever they making, whatever, I'm sure they probably trying to make ends meet, right? So all of a sudden, you this 17-year-old kid that already been told you was the greatest, and you already had issues beforehand coming out of college. Now you're the same kid with issues, but you got money, right? So now, I think, how do we educate the parents on like, hey, you understand this is not a tax return, okay? You just can't say I'm gonna get this check and you blow it. Like, college is now, my opinion, is the NFL. You know, normally it's where 1% is going to the, well, it's still the same number, right? Going to the league. But now it's a higher percent where you can make money in college.
Yes, sir.
So I think you got to understand that now college is at that point where you can make money. It's not generation changing money, but it's money that can set you up. So I think parents got to have financial literacy on, hey, you may not go to the league now. So you need to start understanding early on what you need to do with this money. Like, yeah, they're going to want to buy the car, but you got to tell that kid paying $1,200 for a car a month on top of a $600 insurance, that's almost $2,000 for a car. That's a house, right?
They did something.
So if you want to spend that, talk him into maybe buying a house. So, like I say, like just as simple as that, you lose money in a car, right? But you make money with a house. So it's just all about, I think, educating them, which is what we talked about earlier, is getting the middle school age kids and talking to parents, getting them to understand the new age of recruiting and what it can do. And it's not for you to say, oh, he got it, now I'm finna go buy mama a house. It's not necessary for that because it's not that much money, especially when you take taxes out. But the crazy part about that, we have a program, the Scout program with the Dog program, where you bring kids in and they talk about how to set up LLCs, how you should look at doing things, because you got to take this money, you got this business, and they teach you how to, whatever you need to do with that to circle back, get some of your money back from, that avenue. But guess what? They don't listen. They'll still go out and spend money on a chain or whatever, or wasted on cars that they wreck. Like you'll be amazed how at different schools on the bend, they got these cars, man, nice cars, and they hitting curves, the front bumper messed up, rims all scratched up from driving on curves. Like, man, like, why even go do that? Just get a Honda. Like AJ pulled up his Honda, right?
Pulled it up
like, just because you're wasting it, man. Like, if that's what you're going to do to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait. I know it's hard to do when you don't have a whole lot, or you ready to get that money where you can get your thing. So I get it. And you may buy some things. I feel that. That's not all bad, but take the coaching, be coachable, and let somebody lead you, because most power foes got a program to teach you about finances. So, but like I say, kids coming there, no pen, no pad. Man, when they gonna hurry up, I'm ready to go, do this and do that. And they miss it. But they miss it. The whole point. Y'all want people fighting for you to get paid is for you to kind of have a foundation to better your life, because if you don't, your first job out of college, if you don't go to the next level, it's going to be $60,000 probably. And that's pushing it in Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's pushing it in Mississippi.
Facts.
So now, what a kid going to do? $60,000? What they going to do? Like I say, now you can go to college and leave there worse, right? Just little stuff like that, because you didn't listen to all the wisdom that the old heads tried to give you. But
you made mention of something that was very interesting. How do you, I'm just guessing, if you're a kid that's making 60, 70, 80, $100,000, whatever the case, or six figures, I wonder, what do you think is the mental shift when you go to making this and creating not only these bills, these debts, to, of course, if you don't get an opportunity of going to that next level or getting some job that can maintain this lifestyle, is that the point to where you possibly hit rock bottom for us mentally? And then is that where you possibly go out and, try to seek for help or whatever the case may be? Because I'm just intrigued to just kind of know, like, it's so many avenues that I didn't even know I had. I'm speaking for myself when it came to University of Alabama, because I was there for 4 years and graduated from there. How good we basically had it until I kind of got back, and things were a little bit differently. When you had the Coach Cochrans, you had the Nick Sabans, you had Coach Cristobal, who was my recruiter, my offensive line coach before going out to Oregon. Out to Oregon. He was a tight end coach. They moved him when I first got in from offensive line to tight end. But I'm just wondering, like, if I'm a kid, hypothetically speaking, I'm going from in college, and granted you are my coach, or you're my strength and conditioning coach, do coaches, of course, strength and conditioning coaches are a little bit wired different than position coaches, but can a kid reach out to you if he's no longer being coached by you? I'm just asking, like.
Yeah, man. Like with me, like Nevada, Grambling, all the places I've been. You reach like if I run across you, I coach you, and we really gel together and like with different things. Of me trying to guide you, even if I didn't, but you could always reach out to me. Like I'm there for you forever, and I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? I gotta find out what you're doing and how you're doing, and different things like that. But like, yeah, I'm not one of those ones you can't ever call my phone. Like you can call me, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna have to call you back. You know what I'm saying? Or you better text me if I ain't got your number saved, and I call you back. Just talked to one of my guys that was at Nevada. He, they on speed, so they always send me, "Yeah, coach, this is what I'm doing, this and that. What do you think?" And I've reached back, da 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 da. Some of the things I can't send in text, I shot him a number, man, call me. And we sat and chopped it up for about 20, 30 minutes about different things. And, and he's telling me different things like, "Coach, I appreciate everything, And so I'm always gonna help out. I'm not that guy. I'm never too big. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, ain't no egos. I ain't doing this for strength and conditioning or generational wealth. If it happens, it happens. I trust in the man upstairs to make sure I'm straight. But you always got a friend with me. You always got somebody you can reach out to. That's just me.
You are a moment. You are a passionate moment. You are eternal. You are a first kiss, a first touch, the first memory of what it felt like to be loved. You are me, and I am you.
I am love.
I want to kind of pivot just a little bit. When you talk about speed development, take me through that process. And even you already took me how you got started with it, but has the evolution of just how it's transitioned from old school style training and kind of transition to what you guys do and other programs do, but like take me through that process of just speed in general and how it is transformed. And because it's just like when you look at the combine, you look at pro days, it's like guys are getting faster, quote unquote, but the training is getting better.
Yeah.
So how has the training gotten better from then to now? Because, it's so many old school coaches, of course, in high school, it's like, whatever. But I just want to kind of get your thoughts on that.
I mean, with the science and everything, now guys are really digging in, doing a lot of different training, got a lot of different research, and the research is saying this, the research is saying that. So everybody's really doing that and trying to make these guys more explosive. Sometimes with that, they don't develop the bigger guy because everybody's trying to go explosive. Had a privilege to talk to a guy that was in the league, and he was telling me the things that he's seeing that's changing coming from college to the NFL. Guys are a little smaller now because they want speed, I'm not against that, but I believe in the old school kind of deal, use some science. You got to use the science, of course. If not, you're going to mess somebody up. But especially with speed, the science is there now with how to control the volume, whether it's resistance, sprints, how heavy, how light, profiling, speed, different things like that. I've been in it for a while. I started out before all that. So I guess I started out doing the research of all of that. So, and like I say, from being at Velocity, I learned how to coach speed before I learned all the science about it, if that makes sense. So when I speak, I'm speaking, you got the scientific part of the book, then you got the practical part of the book. I'm always speaking from the practical side. You got guys that speaks from the front half of the book, which is the science. Like I say, so sometimes we have a hard time connecting with how I see things because at Velocity, we take things and we learn how to break piece by piece, step by step. Whether you take top end mechanics, the cycle, we break it back down and start from the very beginning. Step 1, step 2, step 3, then we put it all together. So that's just how I'm wired and programmed. So even with on the field stuff, you know, able to take a movement to break it down piece by piece by piece and then put it back together. Because I believe in coaching certain things. Like some people may say, go do 4 cones, sprint 5, decel, sprint 5, decel, sprint 5, but his footwork is trash. You know what I'm saying? 5 yards, he's taking 3, 4 steps. Like, no, let's bring this back. Let's take this decel part. Let's work on his footwork. We're already working acceleration on acceleration day. So all you're doing is putting acceleration with decel and then change direction and reaccelerate again. So if that makes sense in my head.
Yeah, no, I'm following.
Yeah.
I'm following.
So now you just come back and you put it all together. So that's kind of how I operate. So when guys get to talking, they want to talk science, this, that, and that, the third. Like, man, whatever, go talk to him. I ain't got time for that. Because when I do that, they don't comprehend that. They chasing principles. Like, yeah, you got to design it, you know, with the principles, but that's not going to lead me. You know what I'm saying? So you break down the need of the position. So that linebacker need more acceleration than top end. Guess what? We're going to hammer acceleration a little bit more than top end. We're going to do top end, you know. But like now with our skill guys, I'm looking at this summer, they need speed. And I know coach will throw that thing down the field, let it ride. So I coach track, right? So now I'm looking at blending sprint work into the skill guys' work. You see what I'm saying? That's a little different than some people would do it. Some people are afraid to do it. Some people think it's stupid. I don't care. I'm me, you know what I'm saying? So I believe I've done it before and got great results. I got a chance to fully do it again. I have access to the track right there, so that's what we're going to do, you know. Coach Levy don't have a problem with it. Coach Shaw with it. They trust me, so here we go. We're going to see what we get for the fall. So, but that's kind of how I am, man. You know, I mean, around my own, but
No, I'm following you.
I just see it and think about it. I like to think a little different than the guys that I normally talk to, so I feel like they talk a certain way, I talk a certain way, so I guess I'm different, I guess.
Nah, and plus, for one, that what makes you so good because people are able to follow you.
Yeah.
Because you have the ability, because of course, the scientific part of things is probably great to hear a little bit, but sometimes you can't follow it.
Yeah.
And everyone can't follow it. And you have an ability to basically kind of bring certain things out and kind of making it to where everyone can kind of follow you and transition, kind of follow you in different
And on top of that, I've been
places.
doing this since 05.
Yes, sir.
I don't see that
20
long.
years.
I got years in it.
Yes, sir.
So when this guy say, I'm going to do this, I'm like, man, you can do that, but I can tell you what you're going to get. You're going to end up probably having to go do this, and this. Sometimes they don't listen. I just stop talking. Go ahead. I'm on Mars. I leave the light on. When you finally get there, I'll be gone.
Yes, sir.
I'll be on another planet.
Yes, sir.
You got to play catch up. You know what I mean? Not trying to talk air.
Nah, you being honest.
I talk smack, man.
Yes, sir. Nah, like just being real, the proof in the pudding.
But then on top of that speed, to cut you off, and the last thing is you got to get the guys to believe in what you're talking about. See what I'm saying? It don't matter what you do. If they don't believe, you're not going to get the effort and the intent.
Yep.
So, and at the end of the day with that, just run fast. Effort. You know, that sounds simple, but on some days when them guys dead, we in week 6, summer, you know, they dead. How you gonna get them up? You gotta get them up, get them ready, and then you gotta be able to. Okay, I'm not gonna get. I'm gonna get the intensity. I'm gonna get the volume. I'm gonna get today. I tell you what. Hey guys, give me. If y'all can, because we got GPS. If y'all can give me 95% on 2 reps today, that's all I need. Oh, coach, we got it. Pew, pew, got it. Now to that, we may hit 85%, work certain things, technique, understand how to be smooth, understand how to get up and hold that speed. I play with it different ways because they dead. So I don't want to get in a situation where you hurt somebody. Because you're in the summer, you got to be very careful because what a hammy is 4 weeks, you can say, for most of them, you know. So
when you kind of just speak on Mississippi State and where the program is now, what are some things you can kind of speak not only to me as a former player, of course, player over there, but also to some of the fans as well, of just how the guys are transitioning from year 1 to year 2 and just the overall total buy-in?
Man, like this offseason and the first offseason, of course, we got pretty much 50% of the team is new. We got a lot of buy-in, man. We don't have a lot of, like we're talking about, man, why we got to do this? Like, that's not there. You know, we say, hey, man, we finna go and run 8 400s, whatever it is. They be like, okay, shoot, let's do it, coach. We got to do it. Let's go do it.
Yes, sir.
You know, and just being able to get those guys is just like football, want football. I think we got guys that really want to try to get to the next level and understand it take work. Like you're just not gonna sandbag it and just think you're gonna get there. Like, nah, there's too much going to get there. You know what I mean? So the buy-in, just in general, the buy-in, and like I say, even with the first year, the way it went, Coach Levy instilled a certain culture there, family. So with this group there, we then took another step, man. So the buy-in there, we got more leaders now. You know, the guys that went through that grind of that 2-10 embarrassment, you know, and understanding, because they've been here, so they understand the fans. They got fans that they deal with. They understand what's at stake. So, and they doing a great job, like Albert back, they doing a great job with rallying the guys and being player-led. That's the main thing, player-led.
That's how you win.
Like, we had to do a lot of leading. Like, man, he grown, he do it himself. Okay. You okay, if y'all don't do it, we'll do it, and you don't want us to do it.
Sir.
You don't want the strength coach to do it. You don't want it to do it. But still, that's not going to get you the wins, though, right?
Correct.
Because they got to fight for each other out there. You know, they got to be connected.
How important is the strength coach role with the identity of the team?
A lot. Because you preach the coach message. Because he's not there with them. Your position coach don't see them enough because they got to do other stuff like recruit. So we see you year round. You know what I'm saying? Not saying the position coach don't, but we there with you in the grind. Y'all out there with us. So it's very important that we're very important. If you got a head coach that don't talk to your strength coach, don't ask them what's going on, they just guessing what's going on. Because it's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's a lot of fires we put out that the head coach really don't ever get a chance to know about because we put them out first. So I feel like our job is to keep a lot of stuff off his desk because he got a lot of stuff. He's running an organization. He got to know what athletic training doing. He got to know what equipment doing. You know what I mean? He got to know what his coach is doing. Administration, travel, what recruiting doing, you know, what operations doing. He got hands in a lot of stuff, and he has to know because he don't ever want to get asked what's going on, and he don't know, right? So it's our job to message his word, his message. So very important.
Well, Coach, I just want to say once again, I definitely appreciate you for coming in, and more than anything, just preaching your message and telling about your message and your passion, because I follow you. Been following you for years, even when I was a player, because Dallas was up there. That's how the connection. And Dallas, my guy.
Yeah, I like Dallas. He all right, man. So I was at Bama, you know, his
Yes,
brother
sir.
was there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Was you around both of them then? Oh, you went? Okay.
So when I left, I think he came in either a year after or I left in 13.
Correct.
So starting 14.
Yeah, so you were chance then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, sir. But more than anything, man, just being around him and just him preaching, and of course, and me just following, just kind of loving the passion, loving the grind, and loving the profession for the most part, and just seeing you and following you for years. It's an honor just to get an opportunity of just having a conversation like we did in the past before at that practice. But more than anything, just getting your message across to the people here, and that you are a person from the state, but from this community, and that it means a lot to you. And I'm just glad to have an opportunity just to chop it up with you, because like I said, again, you put gas in my tank and put a battery up my back once again. Like, seriously speaking, like, have that conversation with you, and like just the small things, like, man, I see you, like, what you doing with your business? I was like, because it can be hard, and granted, you did it.
Yeah.
You know, you did it, you know, a lot longer than me, especially being around this area, but just getting like some of those words, and just also hearing your passion when it comes to just the kids, and just pouring from who you are as a person. And I just want to say, man, thank you. Thank you for having a conversation with me, because I don't take that lightly, because inside of this game, inside of this sport, like, you know, you are a person that a lot of people know, and a lot of people reference as just a great person, a great coach, but a great man as well.
I'll try to be, man.
Yes, sir. So
I'll try to be. That's all I got, right?
Yes, sir. That's all you got. So once again, Coach, I definitely appreciate you. And I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, big shout out to High Ground Coffee, just allowing for us to be inside this space. And once again, thank you to Coach Beckum, just being here and just being, of course, the great person that he is. And with that base being said, we out.
All right, appreciate
Yes,
you,
sir.
man.
Thank
and
you.
y'all come get some of those biscuits there, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if the camera's on or not, but hey, you got to come try those biscuits. You in Starkville, make your way down here.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Before you go, as well, coach me, coach. I'm not going to go past that. Coach me, coach. The what he got going and what he been going, haven't going. Just trying to, of course, getting it down here in the state of Mississippi is definitely bigger than the sport within itself, but it's also just giving guys an opportunity of learning how to train, doing it the proper way, which honestly speaking will speed up your development process when it comes to transition from high school, and especially to college. Because right now, things are just going to continue to get faster and rapid. So kids out there, please take heed to what this man is doing, because this is not a joke at all. Once you get to college, like he said, you got 1 to 2 years. Back when I was playing, 1 to 2 years, kind of feeling your way. On your third, fourth, fifth year, play as a senior. Okay, cool. Now it's like, you know, with money, when money's involved, things are more expedited. So that basically being said, take heed to what he's saying, man. Coach me, coach, please, by all means, get in contact with Coach Beckum and just follow his passion, like really and truly, man. He's a great man. Once again, thank y'all.